So I was listening to Liz talk, and it reminded me of my own thesis and master's. I also did a artificial intelligence project. I went to Rensselaer, and it was written in Lisp, for those of you who remember that language. A great language, actually, ahead of its time. And I had to wait, like Voorhees Computer Center was like this big computer center, and you had to go in, and you had to sort of write your language and kind of then have to wait for it to compile. I don't know if you guys remember what compiling used to be. And then because of the timeshare element of it, it literally took hours to run, and then you'd get the printout in these dot matrix green printers, and you used to rip it off and then look for errors in your code. I don't know if you remember those days, and it was so amazing to see in such a short period of time somebody can take an idea and put it into action and actually have impact globally on the world. And that type of technology-led transformation is the world that we're living in. And it is on the CEO's agenda. All of you, and this is, I can share with you personally, I host 2-3 delegations every week. And increasingly, it's with CEOs. It's with CEOs, it's actually with boards who want to understand what is going on out there. Literally, they see their business models shift underneath their feet. You heard from media, you heard, Ocado can share their story around distribution delivery in retail. But it's impacting other industries. I mean, video delivery with Netflix, they just reported their results, 1 more million subscribers, more than HBO now. Only way we watched it, TV now, is through Netflix. And they're going to get a button, it's going to be in the set-top box, and it literally is, the disruption is immense, it's technology-led, and the exciting part as a technologist is it's on the board and CEOs' agendas. But the old architecture is not what will get you there. You have to dismantle it to get to a new architecture, and that's what I want to talk to you about. Actually, Eric Schmidt, our chairman, spoke at Gartner this last week and did a blog post which I would share with you about the rebirth of IT. And essentially, this whole idea of this next generation computing platform, a series of key services that you can build your organization around, and that becomes the competitive differentiator. The time for that has come. It's been proven in the marketplace, and it's disrupting industry by industry. And we're happy to be part of that ecosystem. We certainly play a role, and are learning how, as you heard from Sundar, is how to keep moving that platform forward on a daily basis. That's kind of the speed and innovation that we hope to bring you as a partner in your journey. Now, the second key trend that impacts how we think about products is this whole movement in your world of employees bringing in devices and increasingly applications to work, right? People, I was talking to one of you, I won't state, like when your employees want to work on an RFP and they're like working globally, guess what they use? They use their consumer accounts, they use Gmail and Docs and Hangouts, and they like bring it together and they do it incredibly fast. On corporate content, by the way. It's not necessarily secure. It wasn't, please read the terms of service. It's not meant for that. Yeah, it has a different kind of characteristic. And because what people have found that, you can erect only so many blocking technologies. Okay, you'll block this or that website. But employees will find a way because they have an amazing experience in their consumer lives. Right, they just go in, figure it out. Increasingly, young people, as you've heard, will find those tools and bring them to work. And we found, the percentages are actually staggering of how much consumer technology is being used inside your companies. And you're seeing that in marketing. CMOs are going to spend tons of dollars in technology. It'll all be SaaS, multi-tenant, and not traditional IT, if you want to call it that. And so that's really, bringing great consumer technology, but with the right controls and administration, et cetera. We think about a lot is how can you get the right balance of speed and innovation on one end, but the right kind of control, security, organizational principles that you have a corporate responsibility for on your end. The third element that Sundar mentioned it, and I don't think you can overemphasize this point that mobility is how the next generation of technology innovation is going to come to us. And we are really in the very early stages of, we took like old workloads or old experiences and moved them to mobile. And we think that that's kind of the end all. It's not going to stay there. I mean, yesterday we released handwriting recognition in Gmail and Docs. So you can now scribble on your tablet and like start to have that be an input source and write emails or build documents and so on. This past quarter, time on mobile for the first time globally went higher than time on PC. Okay, so 21 and a half hours approximately. And we see that in our dashboards, like Google Maps usage is all mobile. Now with the Waze acquisition, it's increasingly beyond that. But 80% of Google Map traffic, and then you can see the spike on the weekend, it's like all goes mobile. Calendar, Google Calendar. Literally everyone's traveling, they're on their phone. I got like 4 calendars I'm trying to manage, 3 kids, my wife, myself, it's crazy. And literally you have it on the palm of your hand where all of it is being integrated together to the device of your choice. By the way, isn't that a cool animation? I'm presenting this in Docs, which is also getting better every week. So, but this idea of a real-time mobile experience is something we are thinking a lot of. Like in the old world, if you think about it, and many of you still live in those worlds, is work was an individual working alone in their cube or wherever, in a device of their choice, and then they send and share that work with somebody else. And then they work on it or comment on it and so on, right? Increasingly, that's moving towards a real-time collaborative environment. And those of you who are already on our platforms get what I'm talking about. It's like you can get things done fast. You can be on the same page. You can connect with anybody anywhere they are, which is not always a good thing, by the way. You want some separation. But the whole idea of this real-time enterprise, being able to change the culture on speed and innovation, is something that we've thought very deeply about. And it's embedded as core underlying principles around how we try and build products in the future. Now, it started for us actually with the simple idea of organizing things and making them universally useful and accessible. And to do that, the first large billion user service that we created was search at a time when nobody felt there was a need for search. And then underlying that was this capacity that we had to create to deliver 1 billion queries of search in 40 milliseconds or less on a device of your choice. And I suspect you, like me, when you get your internet connection here at the hotel, go to google.com to see if it's up. And why is that? Because you expect it to be up. And we take that actually incredibly seriously. There is layers upon layers of 14 years of innovation of thinking in designing. We design all of them ourselves, everything from, we don't design the chip yet, but everything from there onwards, how to put it together, how to manage it, how to cool it. Recently I did a hangout from first time at Gartner showing what our data centers are like. And we, believe it or not, run them at like 85 degrees, much higher than you would expect, because we've done all the tests to tell you what the actual peak performance is. And because if you don't have to cool it, it really substantially increases your utilization and saves you money. So building this big capacity was the baseline for us then to deliver a broad series of services and platforms. And you heard Sundar talk about it, those are the 2 or 3 major building blocks of the next generation of computing that we are focused on. So, and we think of things at scale, so it has to touch 1 billion users or more. And we design for that thinking at a multi-device, multi-tenant, highly scalable global footprint for everything, okay? And those services include search, of course, and then and things like Gmail, which we built for ourselves because we thought email was broken. And why would somebody not have threads, for those of you who get that inside joke? and Gmail is now 500 plus million users on its way to 1 billion, growing at a massive amount. Mapping, we've realized that having accurate location-sensitive, context-aware data is going to change things. So imagine on your phone being able to contact people is phase one, but then being able to send them information. That's, Ocado is doing that around their delivery vans, and you can see the movement of the truck while you're expecting a delivery. Now, wouldn't that be a great thing to give to your users? But having great location-aware, context-sensitive data is what we went down to build. We started with the basic map tiles, but then over time built all the layers, directions, turn by turn, imagery, and for that you had to build satellites, you had to have ground truth where we drive the world and take pictures, controversial in some countries, by the way. And so that when you go to a restaurant, you can actually see it, right? You can see how it looks from the outside. So like in your Tesla, it shows up and say, yeah, that's the one. It's a great experience for me. Or you can see it on the desktop from the inside, so you can say, oh, wow, that's kind of a nice, cool-looking bar. That's an ambience I want. That mapping platform is really, over 1 billion users now, and all these services that I'm describing to you, like Docs and Drive, places to store things, places to visualize and work on office productivity. These are all billion user services. They're not all there yet, but that's our vision, is to build a broad range of new platform services that you can use as the building blocks to dismantle the old world and get into the new. The two other things are the access platforms and the back-end platform to actually build your next generation computing experience. The two access platforms for us are Chrome, again, like 3 or 4 years old, but built around the concept of simplicity, speed, and security. Those are the three things. So the Chrome is the only thing you see, so you can have a great web experience. Everything else goes by the way. And the types of things around sandboxing, safe browsing, multi-tenant, so that if one tab crashes because a service is not available, the rest of the browser continues on, or auto updates, so all your phishing attacks and all the browser patching that you have to do, it automatically is taken care of. Those are the kinds of experiences we designed into Chrome, and that's why it's now the #1 browser in the world. Android, you heard from Srikanth, who's starting to work on the Android enterprise experience, but trying to get some scale. Android now has 1 billion users and 1.3 million being activated on a daily basis. And the idea is to create a first-class experience both on phones, tablets, and other form factors, as you heard, wearables, et cetera, that allow you to then provide great experience for both your internal constituents, but also to your external constituents. And then lastly, the third layer of our stack, which is the infrastructure itself, where we feel like Google developers are really spoiled because they have the best assets, amazing scale. They have to never worry about something being down because SRE and data center operations takes care of all of that. And we want to externalize that for you. So you can build on, whether it's App Engine or Compute Engine, next generation computing experiences for your users. So that's our long-term strategy. It's the access platforms, web services that we will build because they are the core plumbing of the next generation, and the back-end infrastructure that you can build your solutions on. And trying to take this, each of these services by themselves are built for users. And then we apply specific capabilities to bring them to work. I was giving somebody an example about search. We got into the search business through this Google Search Appliance in 2003. And we realized the same algorithms that work on the web don't really work for enterprises. They need security, they need access control, they need a variety of different things. Relevancy and ranking are actually quite different in your business documents than they are on the web. And so we had to tween and tweak all of this, and that was like the first product. So this is, 11 years ago that we actually entered. And the idea of, work being an important part of Google's mission has been actually right from the founding. Gmail, Gmail for your domain was launched in 2005. So we had to kind of figure out what business users need, how do we provide access to those services. And frankly, it's not that easy. There's a common set of capabilities that all users need. And what businesses need, whether it's small or large, is actually an additional set. Maps for your business. And just to give you a sense, email for work started as one product, and over time, we've expanded into Docs, which is your collaboration platform, Drive, which is your storage and accessibility platform, Video, which is Hangouts, and then Google Plus, which is your social platform. And our vision is to just continue to expand, widen, and deepen the portfolio and bring massive scale to the problem while keeping the overall experience really collaborative for your users and really simple, very simple for you to manage. So we do the hard work, the plumbing, and you really focus your energies on solving the business problem. Now, Maps API, just to give you an example, kind of started in 2007 as a paid service. And over time, we've created a platform. In fact, just last week, we launched new imagery for businesses, Maps Engine Pro, where you can have, secure private layer sharing of mapping information and then make that accessible to people inside your company. And if you want it found on Google Search, you can just check a box. Then when Google Search indexes things, you can make that available. So imagine county maps or crisis maps or data about your store locations, et cetera, can actually then show up right in Google Search. So this boundary between company and the external world is actually dissipating, and trying to find platforms that actually go and sit across both of them is actually an important part of what we're trying to do. Chrome, I mentioned. We're seeing increasing adoption of Chrome inside businesses. For security is one reason, but also for the areas we've taken Chrome and built a new operating system, which is Chrome OS. You heard it's 4 of the top 5 selling laptops on Amazon.com. And the whole idea is if you're redoing your entire infrastructure and building it around the web or a cloud-based system, then the whole argument around a PC goes away. As you've seen, PC, et cetera, is in decline, being replaced by mobile computing platforms. Chrome OS offers a really remarkable new way of really reducing your fleet costs, as many of you might be on XP and other platforms that are 10, 12 years old, are vulnerable, et cetera. Many of your peers are actually looking on how they can change that. The whole idea of building for enterprise, for us is the core mission of the team that I lead. There are thousands of people working on it every day. It's a core commitment right from Larry and the board and everybody that works on this. It has always been a commitment. Sometimes it gets lost because we are successful in many other things, whether that's YouTube or Project Loon or other things like that. The journey for us is an ongoing one. We are not perfect by any stretch. The way this works is we build for people, then we add layers of features, security, certification, compliance, support, roadmaps, a partner ecosystem that's certified and trained to deliver against that, connectors that allow you to work on these products in collaboration with others, maybe built by us or our ecosystem. And so it's an incredible amount of work. And it's a work in process, frankly. Like we are learning things. We didn't have 24/7 support till 2010. Roadmaps are a new phenomenon in the last 6 months, where we, under NDA, share with you what we are working on for the next 2 quarters. And then we'll come back and report on that and say, how did we do? Did we do good for you, for that? But frankly, the momentum is really staggering. I mean, we have 5 million businesses around the world using Google Apps. About 60% of the Fortune 500 companies are using paid services from Google. And the last one, which I'm really super excited about, is we now have 30 million students around the world actively using Google Apps for education. It's the same product, it's just free for them. And that's not really a business, it's more of a mission for us, is expanding exponentially, where as kids come online, they move using Chromebooks or devices, they're using Google as their core learning and collaboration platform in schools everywhere. And the way that the architecture for us works is we literally are releasing a feature every day. And so, and nothing is installed. So some of the change management is real. Like, you have to get used to this delivery. And I see our friends from Bangkok South, you know what I'm talking about. There'll be things happening when new features are like at a furious pace. Now, we've figured out how to do a slow release and a fast release, so you have some time to react and respond to that. But our promise is to create like innovation that allows you to really deliver an amazing experience to your end users. And it comes together for me as like everything you do should be just like right here. You should be able to do anything on any device of your choice with like no worries about whether it'll be up or down, and connect with people, collaborate, be creative, build on this device. And we are close to that vision. We feel we've built a series of services at scale that allows you to get that experience. And thank you for that. It's been frankly surprising how many large companies that are represented here have adopted this. We didn't have you here yet. That just happened. So HP, thank you. Welcome to the family. Naresh is deploying this at HP in his group. But you know, the largest companies in the world, you know, Roche, which Sundar was closely involved in, BBVA, which is a very large global bank. Keller Williams is the largest real estate company. They built this amazing video. You should search for it on YouTube, just by themselves, about how it's completely changed their lives. Ahold, et cetera, et cetera. You can see the list. And you know, and increasingly our clients, even though they may start with one area like Google Apps or the search appliance, use that as a journey. One story that I want to share with you is Woolworth, where you know, somebody was mentioning Australia, they're not fast enough. I think it was you. They went on all in, so they like took off their clothes and jumped into the pool and said, we're ready to go. You know, 200,000 employees, replacing the entire Microsoft fleet of Windows machines, you know, from Yammer to Google+, from IE to Chrome, from Exchange, et cetera, to Gmail, and et cetera, like literally, and you know, and replacing Chromebooks from their PCs. So literally a one-shot like transformation. Now, I'm not suggesting that's the right thing for everybody, but it can happen, and it is happening. And it's actually happening faster than most people realize. Is companies will find a way, whether it's through the employees or directly, the leadership and the innovation needed to sort of get into dismantling the old world, so you can take that energy, those ideas, that money, and deploy it towards innovation for your business. It's an exciting time. I mean, I've never been so stoked about technology in my entire career, but I've spent studying it, building it, reading about it, and bringing it to you. And the entire Google team, on behalf of them, I want to thank you for your participation, and you know, hope you give us good feedback on how we can continue to get better. So thanks.